Hello and welcome Saturday night. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, good evening and welcome to Randomiser, the comedy panel show that is not as random, obviously, as a Donald Trump press conference at the moment. Oh my God, he has literally just recommended that Americans get on the sunbed and freebase the toilet duck, which is amazing. We cannot compete with that. I'm sorry. But what we have got for you is 4 of the very best comedians that would have been on at, you see above my head there, West Didsbury Comedy Festival, which obviously, unfortunately, due to world events, can't take place. But what we're going to be doing is we've got them here instead live for you, and we'll be tossing random topics in their direction to basically find out if they're still on top of their game or if their rings have got a little bit rusty over the last few weeks. You're going to be able to comment and chuck your stuff in on Facebook to us as well. So by all means, do feel free to interact. You can even buy us a drink, but I'll tell you about that later on. I won't spoil it now. So without further ado, let's introduce the players for you. Let's let you know who's on the panel tonight. First up, we have got a man who once won the biggest cash prize in comedy, sadly to only then invest it in property in the Northeast. It's Mr. John Scott. Hello, John. You're all right? Yeah, good man, good. Next, a lady who uses the word sex more often on her Twitter feed than you would find it on a teenager's browser history, which should get you a few more followers as well, I'd like to think, is Sadia Razmat. We have also got a man who I feel a little bit sorry for, and only as you could do, obviously, as a Newcastle fan, could you finally be on the verge of getting rid of your tyrant owners for then the apocalypse to hit? You know, that can only happen at Newcastle United. So I'm sorry about that, but it's Raul Coley. And finally, how are you, mate? And finally, a man who, when we sound checked the other day, I, tongue-in-cheek, jokingly said to him, "Oh my God, your hair looks like it's been cut by a drunk Glaswegian." It has. It has.
It certainly has.
He did it himself, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. He did.
And believe it or not, I am a sober Glaswegian right now. This is what I look like all the time.
Oh my God, he's putting the rest of us to shame. I did actually wonder before I made that joke.
Yeah. Right. No, I call it resting pissed face.
you made the comment before we went on air that you're drinking water, but you still look drunk. So that's
drinking
good on you, man. Good on you.
Drinking water.
Go on, mate. After you.
I'm a lot better since I injected bleach.
Good. That's good. And the complexion and everything, mate. You look radiant. It's a beautiful look for you. John Scott, how are you, sir?
I'm all right, but the lockdown's hard. It's really impacting on my shoplifting. I think the thing I'm thinking about being a shoplifter just now is I have to wait in a massive queue before a strike, and also there's nobody in the shop, so it's made it slightly trickier. Other than that, I'm putting dental in my custard and I got a torch up my arse. What a time to be alive. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Great stuff. Thank you. Sadia, how are you this evening? You okay?
I'm really good. Well, I think like the whole of the UK is now Muslim.
Okay. This is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Strange.
This is really going to annoy the UKIP feed I've set up tonight. So go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't feel like unique anymore. It's not like I wish the Raul's leaving. So it's just it's interesting time. Yeah,
most definitely. And Raul, sorry to reference the football to you, mate. Finally, some good news on the way, and football's never going to happen again.
Good news, bad news, it's all the same. Football's, coming to an end as we know it. But I reckon that my biggest worry isn't the fact that football's coming to an end. It's that when it restarts, the price of oil will be worth nothing. So we'll practically be the same team we were anyway. We'll have to spend the same in advance.
I'll tell you what,
Our glorious Saudi owners coming over. You're right, Sadia. Everyone in the UK is Muslim. I have been brushing up on my knowledge just in advance of the owners coming.
Pass it over to us. Come on, let's have a read. Hand it over, yeah. Good on you, man. So look, a little bit on how it works tonight. The randomizer machine is working behind the scenes, and I will press the magic randomizer button that will throw up topics for each round for these wonderfully talented people to riff and chat about and to give us the stuff. They get 2 minutes in each round, and there might be a winner at the end of it. We're all winners. I nearly said we're all losers. We're either all winners or losers, but we've got each other's back, so that would be great. If it's good with you guys, should we fire up the randomizer? Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Go.
Round one.
Yes,
Come on then, randomizer. What have you got for us? 4 topics. Okay, there we go. I'll read them out for people. We have got Ramadan, the North, work and politics. Anyone fancy a first shot?
I think I'll go first. Ladies first, if that's okay.
that's fine.
Yeah, by all means.
Yay. Okay, so when you're ready, I'll kick off with Ramadan.
Okay, yeah. Go for it. I will hit I've got a stopwatch with a very bright underlight on it. I'm going to move that to one side. That looks a bit scary. Over to you, Sadia. When you are ready, go for it.
Okay, so it's the year 1427 in the Islamic calendar. None of you guys are even going to be able to fault me. I could be making anything up. Anyway, so basically what we do, Muslims, we fast from sunset to from sunrise to sunset. And it's on the lunar calendar, so every year it comes back 10 days. So today's the second fast, and we can eat at 8:18 in the evening. And it's not just about fasting your stomach; you have to fast other your whole aura, if you want to say that. So you have to fast your eyes, your ears, from bad stuff. So it feels like we're already doing that. So it's a double fast in a lockdown. And yeah, it's going okay. I tend to put weight on, unfortunately. I think it's because I'm eating later, and also I don't really care what I'm eating, and all the gyms are closed. Anyway, that's nothing to do with Ramadan. And this Ramadan's obviously different because it's different because obviously you can't go to the mosque, which is not a problem for women because we don't have to go to the mosque anyway. We're allowed to pray from home, but men tend to have communal prayers, so they're going to be around the house, which is going to be really annoying. Luckily I don't have one. Is that not 2 minutes? Okay. And
we're just learning
Hello.
stuff. I'm learning here.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions?
Ooh.
No,
is it actually 1427 in the Islamic calendar?
Huh?
Is it actually 1427 in the Islamic calendar?
Yes.
And
I looked it up.
There you
recently.
go. And that's your time. Well done, Sadia. Well done, Raoul, as well, coming in with a question there. Superb. There you go. Let's bob them back up. Okay, we'll plow on. Let's go for it. The North, work, politics.
Ooh.
Go on, Raoul. Your hands up first, mate.
I'll take the North. It's quite a broad concept, isn't it? The North. I mean, we're talking about Sunderland or Greenland, 2 very different places. Should I be talking about fermented whale or Yorkshire pudding? But given that I know nothing about Greenland, I'll stick to the northeast. This is where I'm from. If you've never seen me before, my name is Raoul. I am a Geordie Indian man, if you would rather, and Newcastle brown male. I don't currently live in the northeast anymore. I currently live here in London, which is shit when you're from the north, because they do things differently here. They do things very, very differently. On the buses, they force you to get off at the back doors just so you can't say thank you to the driver. Proper southern unfriendly politics.
Yeah.
The other thing is that people don't really people can't come to grips with the fact that I exist. Like in Londoners' subconscious, all northern accents are sort of synonymous with bigotry. So Kev, it could be like your Lancashire accent, it could be a Scottish accent, could be a Yorkshire accent. When Londoners hear that subconsciously, they hear, oh, what a bigot. So people just don't get me. People, more than one occasion, have come up to me after gigs and gone, oh, Row, mate, I don't get you. I mean, you look like an ethnic. You sound like a racist. I've got no idea. But me personally, I quite enjoy the way do you guys like my accent? I think my accent's pretty solid, and I think we Geordies just get away with words sometimes where the rest of the world doesn't. Like, we just get away with being a bit cheekier with them. Like now, for example, when people ask me if I've ever heard of the Chinese political artist and dissident Ai Weiwei, I love to respond, Ai Weiwei, where Ai Weiwei me.
Oh, excellent, man, super, thank you. And I like. Thank you for coming to a pause. Not that I wasn't enjoying it; it was fantastic. But I forgot to press start on the stopwatch, so I need to, I need to make sure. I'm sure bloody Rob Brydon doesn't need to, wire up the buzzers and everything else.
What it is, I've had sex plenty of times before. I know exactly when 2 minutes ends.
Thank you, mate. Well, and I vouch for that. He does. Yeah, he's very punctual. Very punctual as well.
I'm
two left and two guys left. What do you fancy?
Oh, work.
Go on,
all right.
John.
I'll ironically take work because it's quite a weird one for me to talk about. One, I'm a professional comedian. And two, I've been actually a student of drama for nearly 4 years now. So, you know what? But what I love about the idea of work, right, is that the Conservative government always say the big thing is they're for hardworking people. We're for hardworking people. And that's nobody just now, which might mean that there's no natural Conservative voters fucking left out there anymore. I actually say, define a hard-working person. What is a hard-working person? Because as I say, I'm a comedian, right? That means that my day starts between, 11 and 12. Does that make me lazy? No, I work late at night. That's why that happens. Does that make me lazy? But I had somebody break into that recently. I had a promoter and he wanted to have a meeting and he went, how does 9 a.m. sound? And I went, I don't know. I've heard it. They say the amount of sleep you need is down to your genetics. That's why somebody like Einstein required 11 hours sleep, whereas somebody like Margaret Thatcher only required 4 hours sleep. And I think that's fuck all to do with genetics. I just think if I'd done half the evil shit that Thatcher done, I couldn't sleep either, right? So, talking to hard-working people, Boris Johnson, and now he's a star. We should have known that when Boris Johnson became the father of the nation, we would never fucking see him. People, when he was ill, people were making jokes about saying, "Oh, he should be declared fit for work." He's never been fit for work, right? I actually had somebody recently say to me, okay, John, a hypothetical question. You're in a hot air balloon with Boris Johnson and Michael Gove. Who do you throw out? And I went, oh, probably myself, I'd imagine, I hate that the further up the ladder they go, the less work they do. You got that creepy-haired cat wanker, Richard Branson, right? And I hate the idea that elites rule us. I recently discovered what it was like to be an elite. I was in the park and I was having a bag of pistachio nuts and I ended up with a pile of hard, empty shells. I was about to clear them away and a gusty wind came and it blew them across the park and a flock of pigeons descended on them. And suddenly I felt like an elite. I felt like the Chancellor because I looked at the pigeon and I thought, you think you're getting something, but it's just empty shells. That's trickle-down economics for you, right? And there was this one pigeon, right? It had a broken wing. Well, it was making out it had a broken wing, right? But I knew better than that. I was like, you can fly. You can
John's pushing the 2 minutes here.
I am here. The pigeon wouldn't fly. I eventually just threw it in the air and it landed with a thud and it died. And I went, fair enough, you've passed the assessment. Thank you. So...
Thank you, John. Thank you. And
just stop me. I'm going too long.
It sounded like there was a punchline coming really quickly on the Branson bit, and I should have remembered when I had sex with you, John. It went on for way longer than I wanted it to as well. So.
and you were being dad that night as well.
I was. Vlad, sir, that leaves you for politics.
Yeah,
Hit us
just
with it.
one thing on work before we get going. Has anyone here actually had their money from the government?
Yeah.
No.
They said it's
Because
not
they're sort of giving money to the self-employed, and Chancellor actually used the example of people who work in tanning salons as qualifying, which I thought was quite interesting because quite a lot of them are fronts for organised crime. So we've actually got a government that's national. We've got a government that's nationalised money laundering. Putting organised crime into public ownership. That's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, too right.
Take that one stage further. You'd be buying drugs from the council. And that could take fucking months.
my drug dealer is late enough as it is.
Yeah. So I've been landed with politics. Fucking hell. I mean,
yeah, you got 1 minute left of it, Vlad.
Right. Well, this country, even before the world was fucked, this country was fucked, wasn't it? I mean, the last thing you'd want at a time of global crisis is this bunch of bag of shit in charge of the country. The only thing to make the UK more fucked up is if enough members of the royal family were wiped out by coronavirus so that Prince Andrew ended up being king. That's the only thing. I mean, it's an illustration of how bad this government was. Boris Johnson, faced with this, pretends to have coronavirus. Fuck all wrong with the guy. I think just fancied 2 weeks off. Look. Just put some other poor cunt in charge. So, how the hell could they tell? I mean, it's a guy who's permanently sweaty and out of breath. I mean, well, we've seen nothing of golf. That's the one good thing. Golf,
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you. Right. I'm going to stop you, Vlad. Well done. Thank you, mate. Oh, that was awesome. Well done. Thank you, everyone. And especially Sadio as well. You're thrown in at the deep end, being the first one out of the blocks there. So, as I said, I do need to randomly pick, and I've got a pen so I don't forget what I'm doing all the way through. I loved Raoul's punctuality. That was beautiful. Do you know what? Just because of the passion that he kicked off at, and the fact that he made me regret not giving the swear warning at the start, I think that round's got a better Vlad, I think.
Oh, I didn't realise it was a swear warning. Oh,
no. You're welcome to swear. I just felt maybe I don't know. I'm sure all families are watching Britain's Got Talent. If anyone was foolish enough to gather the kids around the laptop or live stream this evening, then it's your own fault, and you should ask questions to your own parenting.
If you didn't want the C word in the show, you shouldn't have asked two Scottish people on.
Right, no, I know, exactly. It was like...
Not swearing, it's punctuation. Yeah,
exactly.
I was going to say, it's a comma, isn't it? It's a comma.
Yeah.
So, Vlad, I will give that round to you, sir. Congratulations. Well done. Let's get straight into it. Let's, with continued enthusiasm and naivety, maybe, let's head to round 2 and fire up the randomizer, please. There we go. He was thinking about it that time. Okay, drugs, mental health, Brexit. We had some nudges, obviously, on the politics there as well, and sex. Who wants to jump in first? Okay. Go on, Ralph.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
I'll do it if nobody else will. I'll pick drugs.
Okay, and that's the end of your 2 minutes. That's
the end of my 2 minutes right there, ladies and gentlemen. Drugs and drugs alone. I know a lot about drugs, obviously. What with the fact that I frequently attend tanning salons. So I know a lot about drugs. I was actually meant to be doing a lot more cocaine this year. You know, new year, new me, but coronavirus has ruined that. The reason I know a lot about drugs is because my best friend growing up was a drug dealer. My best friend is a guy by the name of Specky Rizwan. You won't know Specky Rizwan if you're watching at home, but you might know a Specky Rizwan, right? He's like the archetypal Asian rude boy. You get a lot of them in West Didsbury, mainly Rusholme, right? He's the archetypal Asian rude boy, right? He's one of these guys that balanced on the one hand being a drug dealer, balanced on the other hand being a devout Muslim. Very interesting watching him balance those two lifestyles together. Like, he didn't drink, but he smoked smoke and he sold weed. He had a souped-up Nissan Micra of all the cars, tinted windows, spoiler on the back, rims, but he would only ever park it facing east. Like he had one of those religious Muslim hats, like a tequila, I believe they're called, but he's had a Nike swoosh in it, right? Now where we lived, not the most diverse place in the world, right? The East End of Newcastle in the 90s. Now where we lived, not the most politically correct place in the world, again, the East End of Newcastle in the 90s. Now where we lived, me and Rizwan, we were known for smoking loads of weed together. Where we lived, they called weed wacky tobacco. Because we were known for smoking so much, they affectionately gave us the nickname the Wacky Two Packies. Hello, children.
That's coming. Yeah.
But I'll tell you one last thing. I don't actually smoke as much weed anymore. I tend to find it sends you crazy over things that do not directly affect your life. Last time I was high, I was in Amsterdam, obviously, and I went to a coffee shop called Coffee Shop 4 Floors. It only had 2 floors, and I cried for an hour.
Oh, superb. Thanks, Ralph. I'm definitely in my obviously married life and 2 children. I've never done any drugs at all, so none of that was made any sense to me at all, mate. Last time I was in Amsterdam on a cultural trip, I went with my dad, and I haven't got time to tell you about the horrors of that story of introducing my dad to coffee shops, but maybe that's a
cultural trip.
It was a cultural trip. We went to a coffee shop, and no word of a lie, with the first coffee shop, it took us 2 hours to leave. My dad was my dad was convinced that the tramp outside was Mum. That is not even a lie. It took me 2 hours to talk him down to get him out of that one.
Jeez.
So scary times, man. But no, thank you, Ralph. Good kick off there, man. Who's next? Mental health.
So let us go. I can follow on with the thing, because I obviously, people know I talk about mental health. I've got bipolar disorder. And so I used to be a fiend for the drugs. I've quit them nowadays, like I really have. But we were reckless. We were the rave generation. We used to drug drive. My mate Jimmy would drive, and I would roll the joints. And it does affect your judgment. I remember stoned once, just looking up, going, Jimmy, we're going to hit that tree eventually. And then I went, oh no, it's the air freshener. So I quit the drug. Bipolar disorder. I like to be open about mental health. I've got bipolar disorder. There's quite a few bipolar comedians out there. I was thinking of getting us all together and forming a jazz band and calling ourselves Mood Swing. I've got quite an acute version of bipolar. I've got bipolar 1. I was misdiagnosed with schizophrenia when I was 25. I got better, but I wouldn't want to catch it again, But my mental health condition can come with delusions. And people say to me, well, what's a delusion, John? Well, I was raised in a religious background. So when I was ill, I used to think scary things like hell was real, which is quite a scary delusion, And we used to have this really strict, because I used to go to Sunday school every Sunday. We used to have this really strict Scottish Presbyterian minister. And every week at Sunday school, he'd put out some biscuits and some fruit. And he would go, take 1 biscuit only, because God is watching you. And I'd be at the other end of the table, filling my pockets with fruit, thinking, fuck it, he's got his eyes on the biscuits, But I'll leave you with this. Sometimes we need little delusions to get through life. I've noticed with young people just now, online, they've got a bit of an obsession with unicorns. They're putting glitter in their beard and their hair up and that. And I must admit, if I was a young person right now, living on less than minimum wage, on a 0 hours contract, working 70 hours a week, probably going to lose the NHS, try to pay off 50 grand worth of student debt and move off a house, I'd pretend there's a fucking unicorn as well.
Sweet, man. Thank you, John. Thank you. Very good, mate. Very good stuff. 2 left there. Well, I mentioned one of the topics with someone there before. So who's up next? Brexit.
I'll cover that.
I was waiting for your sex reveals all story then, mate. I thought
I could get onto that
we'll get that just afterwards. But Brexit. Far away,
well, this is still happening, isn't it? I mean, it's incredible to think that 2 months ago we were all obsessed with Brexit. apart from now we're all just obsessed we're gonna die or live in a world where you can't buy tomatoes anymore.
Isn't it eggs?
Or eggs or toilet roll. Yeah.
True.
But yeah, it's still going ahead. And of course, the nearer it gets, the more likely it is we're going to have no deal because they can't negotiate at the moment because, no one can go anywhere. And in fact, it might surprise you to know that Michael Gove is in charge of no deal preparations. That's a hideously frightening prospect, isn't it? Because they all said, no deal's the worst case scenario. No, it isn't. Michael Gove in charge of no deal, that's the worst case scenario. He always ends up with a job he's totally unsuitable for, doesn't he, Michael Gove? I mean, before that, he was the Environment Secretary. Man, the guy looks like he's been fracked, for fuck's sake. And previous to that, he was the Minister for Education. Fucking Michael Gove. Looks like he legally shouldn't be allowed within a 1 mile radius of a primary school. Right? Thank Christ he's got nothing to do with coronavirus because he looks like he's riddled with every single fucking virus known to the medical profession. Right? Now, I don't think we should have left you. I'm going to bang on about this endlessly because I maintain
I'm not going to stop you.
We should have had a second referendum on Europe. And the reason was that Boris Johnson said he'd rather die in a ditch than postpone Brexit. And I think that should have been the question on the ballot paper, frankly. That's me. That's my Brexit stuff.
Thank you to our Brexit correspondent there in Glasgow. Thank you very much. No, awesome, man. Really enjoyed that. Great stuff. Over to you, Sadia. Then it's short straw or long straw, maybe. I don't know. Sex then for you, Sadia. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm struggling because it's been a very long time since I've had any sex. And
I've mentioned I'm married with 2 children, so yeah, I feel your pain, sister. I'm with you.
I don't understand. Like the thing is, everybody's so scared of going out, and everybody's so scared of one another. And I don't think that fear is the best way to approach what's going on because it's the antithesis of love, which I'd like to make. And also, I recently found out coronavirus, is not a sexually transmitted disease. So it's one of the good things. And but it's I think the worrying thing is like men are more at risk of the coronavirus than women, depending on how you want to see things. And there's already less men than women, so we have to look after the guys somehow. I don't know why.
True.
I read into that, but I think. I read somewhere very glossed and it said it's because of their lifestyles. Like, I guess guys just live a little bit more fun. I don't know. Guys are, like, smoking, drinking,
have a look around you, Sadia. We're not having fun.
Yeah.
Look at our faces.
So it's tricky because nobody's like. I think I've never seen guys afraid to have a booty call and stuff like that. I texted a few guys and got rejected. And I'll never forget. After this is all done, I'm not gonna go in. Okay, I might. It's fine. I think sex-wise. I don't know. Have you guys had sex?
Wow! Ever?
My wife is going through the menopause.
Not to my knowledge.
Well, the thing is, every time she has a temperature, if she's not to go back to work, because every time she has a temperature, it might be coronavirus, she's going to be in the house for the next 10 years, I think, yes.
Which is good, so I'm happy that you're not afraid, and this is important. I just think that it's strange, and we should all be fucking.
We've got the winner of the round. No, you're right. It's and no, I not that I again that because I'm married with 2 children. It's no concern of mine the world of sex and what's going on out there. But I don't know how are people gonna meet in clubs and stuff like that? You know, it's or in bars and restaurants and
line and stuff, and like zooming and like being basically like holding it off, like saying, oh, you know, when we're able to be free. And other people, basically, if you're both not corona, then you know you can have sex.
Or you can have like a badge or something. Yeah, they'll probably give us a badge, right? I was imagining that glory holes are probably doing a roaring trade at the moment.
Mine is.
I would take the virus just for some tests. I really would I'd give it to me. You know.
Yeah.
So
I'll take it.
I've been married for years, so I don't. But how do dating apps work during lockdown? Does Tinder tell you people who are at least 2 meters away from you?
Nice,
well,
like it.
If dick is 6 meters long, then
then he's probably got the cure with him in there as well. Send him around mine, I would imagine. They can't. The apps can't be. How are they like saying like anyone who's using them here? Sorry, but it's like me and Vlad have lent in for advice now, isn't it? As well.
Yeah.
So tell us actually. But yeah, they can't be like advising people like to meet up for dates. What are they just like basing it around chatting online and stuff then?
Well, gatherings of more than 2 is banned. So like the threesomes are taking a tough hit.
Yeah, they're taking a tough time.
Of 2 is, I guess it's okay, right? And I think it's interesting when you factor in the asymptomatic people, because if you're asymptomatic, you don't know normally you just think it's a one night stand. You don't expect them to die the next morning.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Vlad's had some tough dates, didn't you, before you were married?
Yeah. You see, and you might expect me to die the next morning.
Well, there can only be one winner of that round, because I think that like we all learnt something, and we all lent in there. It's got to go to Sadia. That was superb. Thank you very much, Sadia. Great stuff. Yeah, round of applause. Well done. Okay, the round 3 has popped up, so let's plow on and randomizer, do your thing. There we go. Okay, we have got relationship. Oh, John's waving already. What do you want, John?
I'll go for relationships. So I'm working from home just now, which I'm not really doing anything. But my wife, who actually has a job, is working from home just now as well. I might poke some gentle humour her way. She can hear everything that's going on.
Be careful.
So,
John.
My wife is actually she's giving me the finger now as well. She's quicker wit than I am, genuine. So my wife recently, we both had backpacks and we both went to the same. This really happened. Both went to the same chiropractor guy, and he looked at me, did a bit, and then he was working on my wife, and he said to my wife, he says, "I know what's wrong, madam. You've got a disengaged arse." Right? He went, "No, I've been married to him for 20 years." My wife was always the big one for coming into work and changing into her pajamas. But now she comes in from work in her pajamas, right? And I'm not, she's getting a bit angry. But it's just, she's going on at 6 and she goes to bed at around 10 and that. And I always wonder why she does this, but I think I know why she does it. It's because within 5 minutes of getting those pajamas on, I hear these words: "We need something from the shop." You go, "You can't go to the shop, pet, can you?" She goes, "No, I'm wearing pajamas." And then I'll go, "All right, what do you want from the shop?" And she goes, "Chocolate and Tampax." And I go, "Fine, that's what we need." Yeah. And so I go to the shop, and what really does my head in is I was saying, "What exactly do you want from the shop?" And she goes, "I don't know. Get me a surprise." And so I went to the shop and I brought this prostitute back, and that was quite a surprise. Anyway, but I was going to tell you about my wife. Can I tell you a joke? It's one of my favourite jokes about like wife outdoing the man joke. I'll wind up on this little one because sometimes I have to do corporate dinners and tell jokes, and this is one of my favourite. So I was with my wife. I was back in the mining town that I grew up in. I did grow up in a mining town. But back at the Miners Club, and there was Sharon Ramsey, one of the loves of my life. Well, you know, a high school flame, and she was still looking well fit. And she was in that night. She was on the dance floor. She was raving. She was body popping. She needed a backflip at one point. And I said to my wife, I said, "See, when I was 20-year-old, she was a bit drunk one night, and she asked me to marry her, and I said no." And my wife went, "It looks like she's still fucking celebrating." So there we go. I am available for after dinner speaking, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. Great stuff. Thank you, John. Okay. Lockdown, coronavirus, bacon.
Yeah. Lockdown, yes. Yeah, well, we're all in lockdown. I need to be in lockdown because I have a very severe underlying health issue. I'm Scottish.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Listen, I'm 62 and I'm from Glasgow. So statistically, I actually died 5 years ago. Yeah, I'm in lockdown with my wife. It's going okay, despite the fact that she actually has recently had a cataract operation. And remarkably, she can see me well, properly, for the first time in years, and it's all going okay. Because she was apprehensive before the operation. I was fucking shitting myself, right? But that's amazing. The skills you get in lockdown. I can now bake bread. I can cut my own hair. I now know how to wash my hands properly, thanks to Matt Hancock's advice. Who knew you had to sing "God Save the Queen"? Fucking hell. I think that explains the low level of infection in Northern Ireland. If you have to sing "God Save the Queen" to wash your hands, half the population are washing their hands every time they sing "God Save the Queen." Can't get hand gel, of course, which doesn't bother me because basically hand gel is effectively just alcohol. So what I've been doing is I've been taking the alcohol internally, hoping that I can actually sanitize myself with my own sweat. And it seems to be working. And thankfully now we've got over the whole issue we had about toilet paper, because when I first got back, I got back into the country just at the just before lockdown, and couldn't get toilet roll anywhere, couldn't get a face mask. But I was quite fortunate. I had one of these which was able to fulfill both functions. It's my false beard.
Nice.
It wasn't that colour at the start, it has to be said. It matched my hair. Yeah. Fuck knows how long lockdown's going to go on, but bloody hell, man, it's turning me mental.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. Thank you. We sort of mentioned at the start, but how is everyone else's lockdown going? Like, go on, John.
I've got a story. So, the whole toilet roll thing happened at the start. And I was in the supermarket and I came out on the shelves, like major shelves, no toilet roll. So I went to customer services and I said to the woman, "Look, is there any toilet roll?" And she just gave me this filthy look. She went, "There's absolutely no toilet roll." And it was so embarrassing. I had to go all the way back to the toilet with my trousers were my ankles. The COVID joke.
Did you ask for a copy of the Sun or the Daily Mail or something, John?
Oh, you got two jokes, John. You were lying before. Oh, awesome. Oh, great stuff, man. Obviously related to it, it's come up in the same little group here, but coronavirus.
I'll take it.
Go on. Thank you, Raoul.
Excellent. Yes, it's hard not to really talk about coronavirus without talking about the lockdown, as Vlad mentioned, because it's the big effect of this, isn't it? Like, we've all been for 6 weeks stuck inside our house. Why? Because some mad fucking bastard decided bat soup was a good idea for lunch. Like, stick to cream of tomato like the rest of us, you mental bastard. Like, I think coronavirus, it's such a huge global effect that I feel like it's almost like it's come from like a higher power, hasn't it? I reckon it's God's response to how extreme politics has gotten. I think it's God's response to both Brexit on the one hand and cancel culture on the other hand. I reckon he's just looked at the tears and went, right, you fucking xenophobic pricks. You don't want freedom of movement? Fine. None of yous are going fucking anywhere. Then he's looked at the other side and gone, right, you fucking sanctimonious wankers. You want to cancel everyone, do you? I mean, I've been putting forgiveness in my text for time immemorial, but you want to cancel? Fine, you're all fucking cancelled. See how you like that? And I think it's not been good for anyone. I think I've listed 5 people. I think it's 5 people, institutions, whatever you want to call it. I think it's really good for it. Obviously, institutions like this, SteamYard, Zoom, Slack, they've done very well out of it. Uber Eats, everyone's going like, oh, give Uber Eats and Deliveroo a round of applause for being key workers. Mate, they're going to fucking Aldi, buying the pesto for 80p and selling it to us $3.99. They can fuck off. And the other 2 people it's benefited is, as previously mentioned, with sex. Anyone who's got chlamydia or AIDS, they'll probably be buzzing right now. They don't have to fucking say anything. And anyone who's like, if Joseph Fritzl had lived till now, like, he would be buzzing. Anyone who's got someone locked in their basement, they must be having the time of their... Shut the fuck up down there, I warned you! But yeah, that's my view.
Oh, nice one. Thank you, Ralph. Awesome. Which, from abduction, brings us nicely on to baking. I think that's how they do it on the Great British Bake Off. Is it normally they have a bit like Paul Hollywood or someone would probably they keep changing the lineup. I don't know. I pretend to be up on that kind of stuff. Sadia, to close round 3 with just 1 to go. It's all to play for at the moment still. So 1-1, obviously, between Vlad and Sadia at the moment. Over to you for baking, Sadia.
As Vlad said earlier, there's certain things that people are going crazy about. Like he said, tomatoes. I haven't seen that myself here. I'm also very surprised in Glasgow that they know what tomatoes are. But yeah, so like here it's been eggs and it's been flour. And I think it's because everybody thinks that they want to, bake and stuff like that. And I don't know, I feel a bit guilty having the lockdown of my life if I feel like it's going to stop other people from having certain things, especially like people like with children. I suppose they need these things more. So like, I don't know if you guys believe in like traditional Chinese medicine, but I do. And the funny thing is that if you have symptoms of like the flu and stuff, like having eggs is actually not a good thing because it's like a phlegm producing food. And you don't want to have phlegm, right? So it's kind of funny that these people are all egg hunting. And I think it's the first year in history where we had more Easter eggs than actual eggs.
Probably is, man. Yeah. Well, not the first time in my house, but yeah.
I already baked before, so I'm not too keen. But I think it's a good time to reflect on what we really want to do with our lives. Obviously, it's not the best time because it's a crisis. But we already had our crisis like 9/11, so like I feel like I'm well versed. Like I feel like I want to give like a seminar to white people and say you can get through this, guys. That's yeah. So that's what my home baking assignment is.
Oh man, awesome. This is really tough now. This isn't fair almost. It wasn't his topic, but I really enjoyed the toilet roll joke that was chucked in. I'm gonna go with that. It was as tight as, and obviously that puts. Sorry, Ralph. At the moment, going into round 4, obviously Newcastle United. It's at least it's a. I wouldn't even be as lazy, Ralph, to say it would be a position that you'll be used to being in because you're a Newcastle United fan. I wouldn't say that. That would be a really lazy joke, mate. So I'm not going to go anywhere near it. Okay, 1 round to go. Still all to play for. Round 4. Randomiser. Hit it. Okay. This is where we're getting to a couple of bits that we've hinted towards before, obviously. Oh, some couple of bits a little bit similar as well coming up. But let's, travel. Who's going to kick off round 4 at the end for us?
Yeah, travel. No one's travelling. That's it. Because
I was
normally,
going to say, what a great topic. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you very much. Good night. Because normally I travel a lot in my job. All comedians do. Although if things had gone to plan, I would have been in Hull tonight. So actually, lockdown's not a bad thing, really. Actually, I know the next one's Middle East. I've been to the Middle East a number of times. I did a gig in Kuwait several years ago, where very strict country, can't get alcohol, you can't gamble, and you can't eat pork, all illegal. And we did shows for British expats. They asked us to smuggle pork pies into the country for them. Now, I don't know if any of you can laugh, Raoul. You've obviously never tried getting 6 pork pies and a condom up your arse, right? Anyway, the lack of travel has had a good effect on the planet. Climate change is not in reverse, but there's a lot less pollution. Global warming is not going to be as bad because of all of this. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very pleased with that because I'm a keen environmentalist. I drive a car, but I'm actually, as a motorist, 75% carbon neutral. Now, you're probably wondering how I do that. It took me a while to do it. How I've done it is I've run up 9 points on my driving license. I'm 3/4 of the way to being 100% carbon neutral.
Oh man, thank you for all that you're doing for us. So we won't ask about the details of your 9 points at this time, but no, thank you, man. Thank you for looking after the planet and the rest of us. That leaves Middle East, China, students. Who's up next? Who's going to take Middle East? Let's go for that one. Go on,
I'll take Middle East, but I would just like to say to Vlad, personally, 1-to-1. You don't know anything about my sex life. Maybe one of my kinks is shoving 6 pork pies up my arse. How dare you judge me like that? That was actually how me and Specky Rizwan integrated into the very white Northeast. Right. I'm gonna pick the Middle East just because I'm not from the Middle East. I'm from Newcastle. My heritage is half Indian, half Singaporean. But a lot of people think I am from the Middle East because, like Vlad, when I'm a comedian, I travel a lot. And single men who are brown on public transport do not get received very, very well. Like, why do you think I got, where is it? The nose ring there. I got that because you never see a terrorist who looks a little bit gay. Like, that is why I put that there, to stop getting stopped at airports and all that kind of stuff. Like, I can't, like, I wish, because I know people are watching and people will think, oh, like, it's just an Asian guy talking about looking like a terrorist. But, like, it's not just a hack joke. Like, this fear exists in the back of my head every time I'm traveling. And as a result, some of the things I do are ludicrous to try and get around it. Like, the last foreign gig I went to Holland, right? I went to the Netherlands, and I was flying to the Netherlands. I was shitting myself, right? Because it wasn't too long after a terrorist attack. It was like the next day. And I was like, right, how do I show the Dutch people I'm not a terrorist? I'm here for the Dutch way of life. I'm here for Dutch culture, Dutch experiences, and I'm not here to blow shit up. I was like, right, I'll dress in bright orange. Like, that's what they do on their national holiday, King's Day. So I turned up to the airport, right? Bright orange anorak, bright orange trainers, bright orange cap. I forgot I was on an EasyJet flight. Just look like a fucking mascot for the plane. I know I've gone over. What can I? Oh no, we haven't got long left. But I just want to talk about how the Middle East have now bought the Northeast.
Yes.
Saudi Arabia have bought Newcastle, and I found it quite interesting. People have said it's a bit of an ethic dilemma, not ethnic dilemma. Ethical dilemma, yes, not ethnic. Anyway, because obviously, like Saudi Arabia, as a society, as a government, they've done some crazy things. I mean, like for example, in Saudi Arabia, historically, for the past 100 years, they've done such things as a measure of government policy. They've stoned gays, raped victims, but underneath all the fun and games, they've actually done some pretty fucked up shit too. They've currently bombarded Yemen, and they've bombarded Yemen to such a point that the UN have described it as one of the worst humanitarian crises the world has ever seen. And now people have been asking me what I'm going to do about Yemen because Saudi Arabia have purchased Newcastle. And I don't really know what the fuck I'm meant to do about Yemen. Like, I can't help the fact Saudi Arabia, but until Saudi Arabia had bought Newcastle United, the only thing I knew about Yemen was that it was where Chandler went when he was too afraid to dump Janice. Like, I'm not going to bring peace to the Middle East just because I follow Newcastle United. Do you know what I mean? Like, and on top of that, what are we going to do? Like, it's not like we're sending fucking Geordies over, and then once we're taking over, we're going to start calling it the I-Man instead of the Yemen. But I think it's harsh to put the blame on us, the Geordies. I mean, like, who sells Saudi Arabia the weapons to begin with? Have a word with the people of Barrow upon Furness long before you come to Newcastle upon Tyne. But we'll do our best. We'll hand out some leaflets at the match. We'll send Jimmy Nail and Ant and Deck to the UN. But I don't know what more I can offer after that.
Also, I love the passion of that was beautiful, mate. Thank you very much. Really great stuff. Is it all through then? Is the deal done? Is it through for?
It's Ashley, mate. So what we've been seeing is the Saudi sports minister has followed Newcastle United on Twitter, which is a big move. It's meant to be being announced on Monday. Apparently, Ashley was ready to announce it last week, but Saudi Arabia have a culture of only announcing things once it's fully gone through. But then I've seen another report today saying apparently 2 new bids have been launched on the club. So fucking knows.
Yeah, no, good. Genuinely, yeah, good luck on that.
It's preferable to make Ashley. So
yeah.
Sorry?
Saudi is still preferable in Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, too right, man. No, I agree. Yeah, it needs to get sorted out. And hope you do. Hope you do get that sorted, mate. China and students too. Well, China definitely.
I'll go China.
Go on. Thank you, Stadia. Thank you for diving in. Over to you.
Okay, cool. So basically, this all started in Wuhan, and that sounds like it should be like Mulan. Anyway, when I'm thinking of Wuhan, it's just a cool name. It's a funny name, right? Anyway, so as Raoul said earlier, it's about bats, right?
So I think the bats, yeah. I think that's what it's all about, yeah.
And I think the question is, like, I think people are worried that there's going to be a whole lot of racism towards Asians, right? And I think it's now is not the best time to be thinking about racism because people are dying, and I'm not like I think with China having all the money and stuff that it's not gonna be a big problem because we all owe China like America is in massive debt to China, so I don't think racism is the biggest problem. You guys are all quiet and scared.
Sorry.
I laugh because I'm the only other ethnic here and I'm totally with you.
Yeah,
they were all looking up at my screen to go, is he laughing? Is he laughing?
I felt a bit nervous.
I don't know. I think that we need to kind of work with them. As I said earlier, like they have great traditional Chinese medicine. I think that we should be able to like have free speech, and like if people have anti-Asian sentiment, they should be able to say it. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not good to repress things. The guy he should have repressed the urge to eat the bat.
Yeah,
and, I maintain if he was eating good pussy, he would not have gone to bat.
Thank you, Shadia. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that, man. Last one then. Last of the night. What is hi, Mike? Sorry, I've been so lame.
Evening, Mike McDonough.
I do apologise, guys. And look, let's chuck in this before the end as well. This video will obviously stay up. You'll be able to watch this at every time if you're coming a bit late to this now. But also, look, if you want to buy any of the guys a drink or Vlad some Evian or whatever it is that you want to, the link will be within the comments, and it's also within the event page and everything as well. Click on that. You can chuck as little as 50p into the pot. It will be hugely appreciated by all of us. And no pressure on John, but John's going to show you why.
Okay,
go for it, John. You've got students, mate.
Yeah,
no
this is embarrassing to say. So I am 50 years old now. I just did a degree in drama and scriptwriting. Now I'm doing a master's in theatre and performance. And when this COVID thing kicked in, I had to sit back in a chair and go, John, you are fucking unemployable. Like, you know, 60,000 students now doing nothing in Newcastle. So that hasn't changed really, like, you know. The students aren't really welcome in the Northeast culture. We actually had a headline in our local paper recently that said, areas of Newcastle are being turned into student ghettos. And I thought, fucking terrifying. My God. Student ghetto. My God. I've been in the student ghetto. You should see it. They're on the street corner selling quiche. It's unbelievable. Like, you know, mate, I'm not buying quiche off you. Last time we got quiche for you, it was cut with flan, right? I mean, what is crime like in a student ghetto? It's like last night in a student ghetto, a man had a Muller light stolen from his bit of the fridge, right? So I've been studying drama before even. I thought it would make me more bohemian because I'm shit at being bohemian. And people that will know me in comedy for a long time, I had long hair and a big beard for a long time. I got cut off because I genuinely got once mistaken for a homeless person. I was outside the train station in Newcastle having a cigarette one day. Suddenly I saw 10 pence come flying to there. This is when I had my long hair. And I looked up, as a dad with a little boy about 7, and the wee boy went, there you go. And I thought, that's a lot of money for the boy. So I picked it up. And I went, do you think I'm homeless? And he went, no, but now that you've picked it up, you know that you're Scottish, right? And I said, don't you stereotype me, my man. And then I glassed him, so he was fucked. So and then I got my hair cut off, as well as being a drama student, thinking I'll be more bohemian. And that hasn't worked either. And I'll wind up on this because I was in the gay village in Newcastle just before COVID happened with my short hair, the glasses and the beard. Anyway, I'm there outside again having a puff on my vape, and this hen party came by me, and one of them broke off and came up to me and went, excuse me, do you know you've got a beard? And I went, yeah, it's the sort of thing I noticed before I leave the house. And she went, no, you've got an actual beard. And I went, yeah, I know I've got a beard. And she went, Sharon, come here. There's a lesbian with a beard. So, and what I finally crushed my dreams of being a bohemian is a friend genuinely said this to me recently as a compliment. I'd done a gig, this was up in Aberdeen, and I hadn't seen the guy in about 15 years, and he went, I know who you look like. And I went, who? He said it so enthusiastically, I thought it was going to sound good. And he went, Wolf Harris. And so that was so becoming a drama student made me no more bohemian. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, John. And in fact, thank all of you as well. Round of applause for all you guys. I think cracking effort.
Thank you.
And chucking yourselves into this tonight. I genuinely, I do mean this because I don't want him to be disappointed if a deal falls through and he doesn't get out of all of it. But then it looks like I've just tried to be, political here to make it so that everyone's a winner. But I genuinely do want to give this to Raoul because of the impassioned message that came across in the talk on the Middle East, and I love the way as well the Middle East just ended up being a rant about Newcastle United. So
everybody knows the final round is 2 points, so you're de facto winner, ladies and gentlemen.
So it is an equal draw. Thank you, Sarah, for enjoying that and chipping in as well. It's got everyone's a winner. There you go. The randomizer machine. The randomizer machine decided it. It probably written in the stars beforehand. We've literally got 1 minute and 20 seconds left. I know you're not gigging at the moment, so you haven't got anything to promote on that. And if anyone doing stuff that we should know about, go on, Ralph.
You can listen to my podcast on BBC Sounds. It's called Comic Sanskrit, and it's defining the Hindu religion. If you've ever wanted to learn anything more about the wonderful world of Hinduism, it's very funny. Give it a check out.
Thank you, Ralph. John?
I also have a podcast on BBC Sounds, and it's called No Country for Young Women. It's really funny.
Amazing.
We talk about sex a lot.
It's amazing. So, well, after you were on my podcast, Pullback Reveal, the other week, see how I crowbarred that in there. Yeah, I've had a good old listen to that. It's superb. Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, Sadia.
And
John.
please come and find my YouTube channel, John Scott, comedian and writer. And I'm going to be putting up more stuff about mental health. So come and see it.
Awesome. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, some great stuff you got there. And Vlad, over to you, mate. Last 10 seconds.
I am doing an online play. It's a series of monologues that are kind of linked together. That's going to be going out quite soon.
I'll put the links on. We've got to say goodbye because
Right.
it could end pretty much on the hour. Thanks very much, everyone. Great fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Enjoy,
Go out and-